Hello and welcome to a very special something different. I normally don't talk about video games very often, but Resident Evil is one of those series that I have always really liked. And there was a Games Radar article with the GOG guys talking about their struggle with Capcom to re-release the original versions of Resident Evil, Resident Evil 2, and Resident Evil 3, which you can find on GOG. Not sponsored, I'm just letting you know if you're like me and you enjoy the older games. And I found it absolutely ludicrous. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a spill here, so please forgive me when it comes to this, but I needed to get this out of my system. Upon playing the remakes, I couldn't shake the feeling that the folks who made them really didn't like Resident Evil. Not just that, but they found it embarrassing and old-fashioned. Thus, so much of it was cut out of the final products for the remakes. Perhaps that's not true. It may just be the feeling I got. However, it's one of the many reasons I fell off with the remakes and simply just do not like them. Speaking for myself, remakes have become something of a poison or a curse of sorts when it comes to classics. They so often misunderstand, misinterpret, or just don't have that it factor. After all, it's difficult to catch lightning in a bottle. Often enough, those making such remakes view the little flaws, the mistakes, and off performance, or the tech of the day as the problem, and wipe away many of what we found charming and classic and iconic about the original version. In this day and age, I so often find myself unwilling to trust the taste of not just the cowardly company adverse to any degree of risk, but the haughty and often spiteful fools directing the remakes. Capcom has long been a company that made many things I enjoyed, then butchered them. A company desperate to be like EA with its Big Two, to make them the new COD or Battlefield or whatever it is, and so eagerly twisting them and turning them and trying to change what they are, so that longtime fans often find themselves in an alien and foreign world with even their own favorite franchises. We live in an age of the blind being led by short-sighted fools, armed with spite for the customers they require to buy their products. It's no wonder they know nothing about what you want, let alone how to get it to you. That Capcom couldn't understand why folks would want access to the originals is a testament to this problem. The fact that they had to be convinced to put up the OG Resident Evils for purchase so that you, the customer, the fan, maybe the curious, could access them is absolutely ridiculous. When you look at the remakes and you know what they had removed, the incompleteness of them, the amount of stuff that was in the older stuff that just isn't in the new because they were too busy hiding it in the closet because they were embarrassed or straight up hated it, that it's insane. It's ridiculous that they would do such a thing. After all, are you saying that no new fans might find any appeal to the older? Are you saying that newer people can't look past the technology and the clunkiness and find any charm in them? You're saying that people can't go back and enjoy maybe the kind of over the top and goofiness of some of the elements in them? They might not enjoy the science monsters and body horror aesthetics that were in the originals? That they only need the new stuff? Maybe, just maybe, they might think that elements of those are superior due to the forms that they're in and what they're doing, what their design goal was. Effectively, it's Capcom telling on itself that it does not view its old works as anything but inferior. That the people who enjoyed those are anything but inferior. That the people who prefer those aren't worth serving a product to. That you, the original OG style fans, or maybe the new fan who just enjoys the way these were made, well, you're just not worth it to be a customer. Capcom is just another company amongst a long line of them who has no idea who's buying their games. They're too busy caught up trying to be Netflix, effectively. That's how I started referring to the remakes. They reminded me of Netflix shows. They had the same kind of lighting and looks and kind of mediocre kind of look to them, and the kind of mundane and boring. They lacked a lot of the arcade charm and the over-the-topness and the things that made things stick out in your mind of the old Capcom. They're more suits trying to appear like they're doing something more respectable than those dirty games for those people that they don't like. It's just another company that doesn't respect its fans, doesn't value its fans, downright dislikes them, and views them as even easier to discard. And business is business. I understand that. You got to make money, you got to sell product, but it's the fact that they can hold media, and spreads out to movies and shows and all this, where there's this seeming contempt, this stupidity that has flooded in on so many of these companies, that they view the old as not just boring and old and stupid, and who would want to ever watch that? They view it as a threat. A threat because in many cases, I think a lot of people might agree with me, there is far superior products made. Yeah, there were limitations to them. Yeah, their technology might not be there. Yeah, there might not be super CGI, blah, 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 whatever. But they were made with heart, they were made with soul, they were made by people who cared about the product and had an interest in sharing that and trying to get it in front of people. As opposed to soulless products being pumped out to be mediocre reflections of our boring, mundane lives, to ooh you and awe you with grass shadows. Ooh, how wonderful. To effectively hide how shallow the experiences are by effectively showing you a shiny, jingling keys in front of you. We live in a world where people who appreciate what came before them and might want to do something new are viewed as dangerous, who are viewed as problems, where old things that could have built a foundation for people to be inspired and create new things is seen as an obstacle. Just buy the new. Buy the new thing. And when they remake that new thing with a new thing, that's just the remake of the thing, but they cut out a bunch of the things they found later embarrassing after they had remade it several times, well, that'd be the thing that they want you to buy. It'd become more and more soulless. It'd become more and more heartless. It'd become lacking in everything but a name. And the name will be less and less and less and less every step of the way. Because at the end of the day, Capcom doesn't understand its customers, doesn't care to understand its customers, and it's filled with people who all think they're better than you. And that's the same with almost every single one of these media companies, from gaming to television to you name it. Hell, look at Games Workshop. Look at Netflix. Look at the slop that they tell their producers to make because they don't think you're intelligent. They don't respect you. And honestly, they don't respect you to such a level that they'll sell you old things that they could make pure profit off of. So as we look at this, I believe it is insane to go, hey, Capcom deserves our trust. They deserve our scorn. They deserve to be treated with nothing but suspicion because clearly their leadership, their creators, and their marketers do not understand what to make for their fans, what to provide for their fans, and they don't even trust the older content. They see it as a danger to the newer slop they're trying to put in front of you. Lord forbid you realize that there's a difference between something made with some heart and soul in it and something that's just a corporatized treadmill for you to run on. But that's just my opinions. What do you guys think? And let me know if you'd like to hear more about some gaming stuff just for the heck of it. And I hope you guys have a fantastic day. And if we never meet again, I hope you have a wonderful life. Bye-bye.